IT Nation Grow. Had the great pleasure of attending IT Nation Grow in December 2024 at ConnectWise headquarters downtown Tampa. Great event. Talk about mergers and acquisition, about growing your MSP. There was buyers there, sellers there. Just a great event and a great community that's being generated from it. I had a great opportunity to talk to 10 individuals while I was there. Really great conversations, really diverse group from very different backgrounds, some MSPs, some bankers, some PE firms, some vendors, really great conversations there. And I enjoyed every single one of them. It got crowded at particular points. Some of the audio might be tricky. It was a great event, IT Nation Grow, December 2024. I look forward to doing many, many more. Thank you, all 10 of you, for your time spending your time with me, having a conversation and listening to my questions. Thanks again.
Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. I found myself at 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. I took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People ask me, how'd you do it? What's the secret? I need to lose weight. How'd you do it? How did I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others.
Appreciate it. Is it better to have a friend with a boat or to have a boat yourself?
Have a friend with a boat.
Why?
Boats are holes in the water that you pour money into. Having had one for 20 years.
And you don't anymore?
No. Now I spend my time on the tennis court.
They say the best day of your life is when you buy it. The worst day is when you sell it, or the other way around.
They're both pretty good days.
Yeah. But it's so fun being out there on the water.
Oh, it is. It is. We have 2 sons. They were raised dragging them around the lake on tubes behind the boat, and then teaching them to water ski, and then watching them progress water skiing. And then my wife and I did a lot of fishing on the boat.
Yeah,
I'd love it.
I remember I have friends in Dallas, big lakes there, and, doing that water skiing is so fun. I mean, the hardest part is just kind of getting, stood up.
It is.
Yeah. And it's two or one?
One.
Yeah.
Well, you start on 2 and you move to 1.
Oh, is one more difficult? I never
Far
tried
more
to.
difficult.
I could see that.
Yeah, but once you get it.
Yeah. And you're a tennis player now?
I have been, for the last 25 years.
You like it?
Love it.
Yeah.
3 times a week.
Do you really? I play here in Tampa. We have clay courts here. Do you have them there in Atlanta?
Primarily hard courts.
They're all hard.
Clay courts are great. Easier on the knees.
And you could tell when the ball's out or in. There's not much discussion. You could see the marks.
That's handy.
Not that anybody's dishonest, but sometimes, a short hop, I don't know sometimes.
Yeah, especially if you're looking straight down.
Yeah,
the ball
exactly.
on the baseline.
Yeah, and so if you're playing doubles, hopefully you count on your partner, but otherwise that can be very tough. But I love the sport. Do you get to go to many events?
Used to go to the U.S. Open every year.
I did too, in Queens there. It was really, really great. And then, a hot dog and a beer is, $300 or $400 or something.
Is that the truth?
Yeah, I mean the prices have gone outrageous. But we have a major right here in the U.S. It's a great event. That's all on True.
Yeah, Indian Wells. We're thinking of going to
Indian
Indian
Wells.
Wells in a few months.
Yes.
Now that's like the 5th Open. You get to see all the top players, but it's a lot less insane than Queens, New York is.
Yes. Flushing Meadows. Yeah. My parents met close there. They came from Europe and Nova Scotia, so I know the area really well. Are you always originally from Georgia?
No, I grew up in upstate New York, but after college in Syracuse, I moved to Connecticut, met my wife, and we were there, raised the family there.
Where in Connecticut?
Just outside of Hartford.
So I'm from Wallingford.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know where Glastonbury is on the other side.
I know Glastonbury very well. Yeah, that's where you're from?
Yeah, my wife's from West Hartford.
Ah.
Our oldest son is raising his family in West Hartford.
West Hartford has got great restaurants. It's really, really, really nice.
Be there Christmas week.
Yeah. The asylum and I forget the
Farmington.
Yeah, Farmington. Yeah, it's such a great area. Really, really, really miss it. I moved to Tampa. It became empty nests, Peter, and then the winters got tough, and so I came down here just in time for the largest hurricane in the last 100 years. So we're here at IT Nation Grow at downtown Tampa, at ConnectWise headquarters. What are some of your goals here?
Goals like everyone else, networking. My firm, Strategic Ventures, we handle high-level executive searches for MSPs. They need a CXO level executive, a VP level, even a director level executive. We go out, lead the executive search, and bring them in for a lot of the leading MSPs in the U.S. and Canada.
And it's only MSPs you focus on?
Only MSPs.
Wow, why?
Well, first of all, I had grown an IT service company at one point in my career and built it up, sold it to a public company. Then I was an M&A advisor in the space for quite a number of years. And then 2008 happened, and M&A advisory ceased to become fun in 2009. And I decided to leverage my Rolodex in the IT services sector in another capacity. And since then, I've built the firm and have been exclusively focused on MSP since 2015.
And so you said you're an IT firm. It wasn't a managed service provider?
No, it was before the managed service provider phenomenon. It was IT services.
I see.
Consulting, projects, hardware.
So non-recurring.
Non-recurring, that's correct.
Yeah. And was that in Connecticut?
It covered the Northeast.
I see. My MSP was in New Haven, in Wallingford there. Yeah. What's the name of your firm? Would I ever know them?
Power Crew.
No, I don't. And then why did you sell?
For the same reason that a lot of the owners here, you run it for enough years, you manage a large team, you deal with all those headaches, and at some point you say, hey, listen, I got to get some chips off the table.
So you help MSPs recruit C-level employees.
C, VP, and director.
Wow. And what keeps you up at night, Peter? What's the hardest part of your job?
That's a great question. Not a lot keeps me up at night. I sleep.
Good for you.
I mean, this was a strange year. We've had a lot of. It was weird that COVID actually helped the MSP industry as companies shifted employees to work from home, and they had to immediately build out their infrastructure. This year was weird. They didn't have the typical growth they've had the last several years. And we had a good year. We had the busiest summer we ever had. Usually
really?
Summer is slow, yeah. Well, the fall's been more of a moderate pace, not that kinetic pace that we've had the last several falls.
And why do you think that is?
I think a lot of the MSPs, their customers were holding off on large projects until after the election was sorted out.
Yeah. Elections always just brings uncertainty.
Yes, exactly. And especially this one.
Right. Yeah, regardless of the outcome, they just don't know. Yeah. Let's hold off. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So I was just at IT Nation Connect 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this one talking about a lot of the CEOs of MSPs, and they're all pretty bullish on a strong Q1.
Good to hear. Did you see?
Settle down.
I can't wait. Did you see all of us in Podcasters Row there? We had 9 podcasters there at IT Nation.
No, I must have missed that.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big event.
It was a huge event. Yeah, on the way to the keynotes. So when you came down the escalator, there was all us podcasters there. We would have loved to have you, Peter.
Yeah. I'll grab you at the next one.
Yeah. It's interesting phenomenon of podcasting. You mentioned elections. I think elections have really legitimized podcasting. We saw, the media kind of make all these forecasts that didn't come true, and you have podcasts that aren't influenced by corporations and have candidates on and have real conversations. I think it's done a lot for podcasting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about podcasting more recently than I've heard previously.
And so you're out of Atlanta, but are you just U.S. or are you international?
U.S. and Canada.
U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
What's the Canadian market? Is it tough to place people there?
Not really. It's interesting. Canada, the comp plans in Canada are actually a little lower.
Huh.
But being more of a socialist country, there's some issues in terms of hiring employees that you don't have in the States.
So if you're an executive and you're deciding to leave a company, how do you collect those resources of candidates?
Yeah, that's actually something we've taken the last 10 years, tracking the executive teams for about 530 of the leading MSPs.
Wow.
And because we just specialize with MSPs, the real small MSPs can't afford our services.
Right.
They have to be, at least 10 million of revenues, usually. And because we understand, who the players are in these 530 companies, usually we can wrap up a search in under 8 weeks, usually provide a suite of candidates, a fully vetted suite within 3 weeks.
Wow.
We can move very fast.
So the thing about your industry, Peter, it's so like people have inventory or services and they match them to the client. But in your industry, both parties can say no.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be frustrating sometimes. The MSP wants them, but perhaps the person doesn't want to go there. Right? And you got to match those up. It must be very tough sometimes.
Well, that's what we get paid for.
Right. Yeah. And when you're interviewing an MSP to see what their goals are, what does the MSP have to have in mind to work with you?
Well, usually I'm working with the CEO or the private equity operating partner along with the MSP. And they say, hey, listen, our organic growth has been slow this year. I heard a lot of that this year.
Yeah.
We want to replace our VP of sales, or we feel we need a CRO. And, this is our goal. We want to get back to 15% year-over-year growth. We want, we ask questions like, explain your culture to us, because we want to find someone that fits into their culture, because you can find the best candidate, but if they don't fit into the culture, it's not going to work. So first we'll dive in, understand the culture, understand the business expectation. Yes, you want to scale from 25 to 100 million in the next 5 years.
Wow.
To keep the PE firm happy. So we understand the requirements of the role, the expectations, and then we document it very carefully, and we'll go out and put together a slate of 5 high-quality candidates, usually within three weeks after the kickoff of the search.
And other than the $10 million in minimum revenue for their ICP, for the client profile, who won't you work with? Is there anything else that disqualifies them?
No, our clients run from 10 million in annual revenue to about 400 million in annual revenue.
I say, and that's really, there's really, is there a red flag when working with an MSP of who you want to?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
And as far as the candidates on the other side, if somebody comes to you and say, I'm leaving this corporation or I've been let go, how do you qualify them to maybe place somewhere?
The first thing I look at is what's their track record, what's their job history. Are they leaving a company every year? If so, that's a big red flag. I look for stability in their job tenure. I look at what companies they've worked at, what roles they've had. That's at first pass what I'm ascertaining.
Very cool. And how does the MSP work with you? Is there a retainer? Is there?
Yeah. We have a deposit on the search, and the balance of the fee is paid when they start the first day on the job.
And what if after 30 days both parties decide it's not a fit? You just you get them another?
Yeah. We'll replace them. I have to tell you, in 15 years, it's only happened twice.
Wow.
We replaced both candidates within 30 days.
Wow. How many placements roughly have you placed in that long time?
I've never added it up. Quite a few.
Yeah, thousands. Easily, I'm sure. Peter, has there been anything in the last month or so that you've changed your mind on?
Not that I can think of.
So, I mean, I've asked people this, and I've heard things like changing well-done hamburgers to medium well. And I've heard some people say, my position on God. So I've heard a wide variety. Generally, are you an open-minded person?
I would think so.
Yeah. Nothing comes to mind about changing your mind, though.
I like my hamburgers medium rare,
So do I.
and I still very much believe in God.
That's why I'm not a big sliders fan, by the way. The meat's too thin, and it's usually well done.
Exactly.
So I started my MSP in the 90s. I'm from New Haven, like I said, Wallingford. For those of you who don't know Connecticut, I usually say the suburb. Who's outside, I just say New Haven. Wasn't paying attention to myself, Peter, physically. And had my check with my doctor. I'm at 340 pounds. She says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me, Peter. I'm driving home, upset with myself. Took the next 6-7 months, lost 130 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I kept it off. You can't look at it as a finishing line. It's lifelong changes. So I tell people this story, and they want, what's your secret? I say, there's no secret, Peter. Discipline. That's how I lost. That's how I keep it off. Just, willpower, routine, etc. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Well, it's interesting you brought that up. When in my mid-30s, I almost died of cancer.
Whoa.
And colon cancer. And so I was a big meat eater. My diet just wasn't conducive to healthy eating. So I radically changed my eating in my mid-30s.
Wow. And did you have chemo? Did you go through all the stages?
No, I just had extensive surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, I declined the chemo.
Wow. Look at you now. So has discipline always played a role in your life?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty disciplined guy.
Yeah. How's that manifested? In your business and searching and
I'm good at strategic planning. I tend to think strategically, task-oriented.
I could see that.
Set a goal, break it down into the projects that have to be completed to achieve the goal. It's kind of how I'm wired. Sometimes it can be tough on those around me, because my wife will want to talk about something, and I'm like, I want to solve her problem.
Sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. Problem is that it's hard to determine when that is. Yeah. Peter, I thank you so much for your time. Anybody listening, how can they get in touch with you? Email?
Yeah, they can look me up on LinkedIn. Put in my name, Peter Duflo.
Duflo.
Duflo. They find me on LinkedIn and go to the website for my firm, strategicventures.com.
Strategicventures.com. And your email?
Is pduflo@strategicventures.com.
Peter, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
I've enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.